All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the 5-digit United States Cup Minor League Semifinals. We got a little bit of an unexpected second match coming here tonight. Had one earlier, and then, of course, the team's having a little bit of a last-minute reschedule. But we did cobble together a broadcast for you to bring you this match, and of course it's going to be an exciting one. We've got Florida B versus New Jersey B fighting for that finals berth, the very first finals berth of the 5-digit United States Cup 2026. Of course, all the other teams yet to play. We have just completed our half of the bracket, this lower bracket in the minor league. Florida B, Texas C, New Jersey B, and SoCal C all playing their matches, and of course the winners, the two winning teams, Florida B and New Jersey B, now facing off against each other with the two losers eliminated. Both of these teams would definitely want to go further than where they are tonight. Would certainly be a bit of a disappointing finish after Florida coming in 4th last year, their highest placing so far, and New Jersey B coming in 5th to 6th, and historically being one of those upper half teams, placing 4th in 2023 and top 8 in 2024. Would like to continue the upward trend that they've had since last year. So losing here definitely be a bit of a sad event for either team, of course. The teams do have lots of new members, lots of revolving doors on these minor league rosters, as they are 4 new players on New Jersey, and we've seen them put in lots of good legwork. Bonnie Abadir, of course, coming up from C team, a very big, important player for New Jersey up until these later rounds, but especially in those early rounds, being able to put out so many FCs just back to back to back. Yakumo Yukari, also known as I Stubbed My Toe, Ayaset Mati. He's been stubbing his toe a little bit on some of his specialty maps, the tapping. So hopefully he can straighten out his walking. And of course, Torado with an FC on DT4 of all maps in their match earlier today, joining them alongside Casual Linux User. And for Florida, losing some pretty big names, Mikey M, Firegen, and Equivocator, but also in with Quasi, in with HLV, the tapping specialist from the southern half of our continent, and Big Boy to round things out in addition to their pre-existing members. We do have the pick bans already through. It looks like it was a Florida first ban, and it's just going to be a double Hard Rock ban targeting Musadong FaZe, now a veteran of 2 years for New Jersey on the B team and previously a C team player. Only back in 2023, showed some very good, strong Hard Rock scores earlier today on that one. The Hard Rock 2, almost an FC, just whiffing on a burst right before the end for a really solid 800k, and then the Hard Rock 3, notably one of the harder maps in the pool from what it would seem. You would think maybe a Hard Rock 1 ban is also on the table, given that the aim consistency is so difficult to score high on if you don't have just giga skill cap on the Hard Rock 1 skill set. But interestingly enough, it's going to be the slightly easier Hard Rock 2, maybe a little bit less comfort on the precision, as New Jersey look to be banning out the Easy and the Flex 1. Yes, New Jersey do have Spike. They do have Bonnie Abadir, but that third player definitely going to be an issue when you're going up against this Florida roster. And so forced to ban out the Easy, leaving up the Hidden 2. As we have seen, Torado is capable of filling that sometimes, and I believe Casual Linux User is as well. Just liking their chances a little bit more on the Easy 1, and also going for a Flex 1 ban, interestingly enough. Banning out the Daramok style CS5 Air 9 finger control rhythm reading. And it's going to be what else but a Hard Rock 1 ban. You see the Hard Rock 2, Hard Rock 3 bans coming through. And it is Hard Rock 1 that's left on the table. Of course, starting from the semifinals, we do have best of 13. So these teams having to win 7 maps in order to take the match. So we are in for a little bit of a slow burner on the late night show. New Jersey, of course, did play this earlier today with a really good score from Musadong FaZe. Putting up, it was around almost 600k actually, with only 3 misses, and that is just the best score on that map so far this weekend. Only Niwa Gaming on the side of Florida be coming close at a 530k, and then yes, there was a 500k from SoCal B or from SoCal C on Dog Aiden, but it was almost 500k flat. Not the most. A little bit further away from the near 600k that Musadong FaZe had. And of course, he will have the same 2 teammates accompanying him here. It's going to be Torado and Bonnie Abadir. And Florida going to be looking at Niwa Gaming, Quasi, and Big Boy. Also, the same 3 that they posted for a 1.15 million team score. I believe it was yesterday night against Texas. Jersey posting 1.3 million earlier today, so a hefty 150k score lead. And especially when the team scores are sub 1.5 million, 150k is a lot. That is more than 10% of a score advantage. And when the individual scores are mostly under 500k, that does turn out to be a lot of score needed to be made up in order to make up that difference for Florida. So we'll see just how much work they can put in there. Niwa Gaming going to be the main focus on the side of Florida as we put our eyes once again on Musadong FaZe. This man's so consistent on the hard rock aim. He's shown time and again multiple stellar performances in RTT and even in 5USC now these past couple months. Of course, this one is just a bit of a slower intro to start things off, but the difficulty is pretty consistent even in the quote-unquote slower parts of the song. The spacing does keep up, and there is decent note density. There's pretty consistent strain on your aim, and speaking of strain on your aim, there goes Bonnie Abadir. Not the person you would expect to break early on, usually very consistent, especially on the easier sections, but as we pick up now, or not quite yet, picking up as we wait to pick up, it's going to be Bonnie Abadir, the only miss in the lobby at the moment. Here we go. The spacing picks up, and so does the awkwardness. You see the linears, you see the spacing changes, you see the wide angles, and even some sharper angles with really good spacing. Those are going to catch Big Boy and Quasi on the miss aims. And it's just Niwa Gaming once again for Florida, holding on to Lone FC, and there goes Musadong FaZe, his rival on the other side, down, but a surprising foe has made an appearance on the stage. It's Torado. As I say his name, he will also find the slightest of miss aims, so Niwa Gaming now able to take over this map, but it's Bonnie Abadir holding on to a recovery on the other side as Niwa Gaming's two teammates still falter, and it's not quite enough to bring things over yet. 50,000 at the end of that first TI section, and although the intensity of the song does drop a bit, the spacing does not really drop in turn. We're still very spaced. And there goes Bonnie Abadir as well. So finally, Niwa Gaming able to put some pedal to that metal. Put the gas on. He's still holding on to a combo. 800 and climbing. And hold on a second, guys. This is by far the biggest combo we've seen this weekend on this map. Musadong FaZe at 750 earlier today, and Niwa Gaming at 746. This is well beyond anything we've seen so far. Already 550,000 individual score, and he is well on track to take over this match and set the best score of this weekend so far. But hold on, there goes the miss. And just as it was looking so good for him, the score already back on the side of New Jersey B as Musadong FaZe has found that solid recovery, 500 combo and counting. And I don't think Niwa Gaming has done enough. Big Boy and Quasi continuing to falter. Just around 300,000 individual score for these two players. And there goes Niwa Gaming as well as Musadong FaZe holds and holds and holds 100,000 to his state's name. And although it was a bit of a close affair as we go into the ending, New Jersey will pull away in the end. An incredible individual score and improvement from Niwa Gaming, but an even bigger improvement from Musadong FaZe as he closed that one out with 660, almost 670k there. So New Jersey making their expected first point after a little bit of turbulence and some decent improvements from both sides. Florida notably struggling a little bit more on this map than New Jersey. The Sporting scores just a little bit better. Big Boy and Quasi. I believe a couple new names for this Florida roster. Yes, both of them finding their first. Or maybe not first. I do have to double check that. But yeah, no, definitely not first, as they have spent some time on the B team in the past. And in Quasi's case, even on the A team in the past couple years. But this year down in the minor league. Feeling not quite in form, perhaps. Twice a 300K on Hard Rock 1. We do go right into the pick of Florida. It's their hidden 3 as their pick. This slot has seen some quite difficult maps these past couple rounds. Last round, the Wispy Control Tech catching a lot of players and definitely being a skill cap map for that pool. And here we are in the semifinals with man's first. I mean, unfortunately, I can't read out that entire title at the moment. Not fully displayed, but I will check the sheet and get that name to you in just a minute. But yeah, this map also quite difficult. And that's going to be man's first inhibition featuring Kid Keem. This map also quite difficult. Some hidden flow, a little bit higher BPM than the last round, 170 BPM. However, in turn for that higher BPM, patterning arguably a little bit simpler in terms of the circle control tech aspects, but arguably a little bit more difficult in terms of the sliders and going into smoothly to and from the sliders and the bursts. You are seeing, of course, the gimmick roster for New Jersey in here. It's Spike and Bonnie Abadir. Going to be filled out by Toronto, New Jersey, the state itself, Florida. Bringing up HLV from C Team and in for this match. As it's going to be Big Boy and Quasi again on this one. Homie not quite fancying this one, a little bit too hidden. A little bit too gimmicky. Interesting not to see Lunage here for this one, is usually is quite good at the reading and hidden from what we saw last year. So we'll have to see how this roster choice pans out for them. Quasi, all-rounder with the strength and tech, and this map is quite techy, so should be quite a fine pick for him. But looking at that duo of Bonnie Abadir and Spike, that is where you want to keep your eyes if you're watching the right side of our screen. You can always see why that's the case. Those two players doing quite well for themselves in this intro. Hits the slider stream, and it's just HLV to find the first break. As we go into the Ki, these are those sliders that I was talking about. It's incredibly difficult to both pick up all those slider ends and make your way to the start of those bursts. And Bonnie Abadir going to be the first to break, the first to slip up, traded out by Quasi. Spike and Toronto still holding on to their FCs, and it's just Big Boy at the moment on the other side to match. Are looking for a big performance from, I mean, I wanted to say Quasi, but it's Big Boy who's holding the big combo at the moment, and Toronto will drop, although also down at 80% accuracy, a C rank. Bonnie Abadir, highest accuracy in the lobby, but funny enough, same score as Toronto, finding some earlier breaks. First part of the map. Really looking for Quasi to pull back some combo and some score for himself as Big Boy continues to match Spike, and the score remains close going into the second half. Into the last Ki. There go HLV and Quasi. And there goes Big Boy. That is a big drop for Florida. And Spike will find a miss to lose the FC as well. Bonnie Abadir trading back, but they have made more than enough headway on this map, and Toronto holding the combo with a low act into the ending. And this will be enough to secure the already well-cooked advantage that his team had built up earlier on in the map. For an early break point in the favor of New Jersey. So it's a bit of a rocky start for Florida at the moment. As I would like to look for the reason why we had the sudden reschedule, if I can find that in the Florida versus New Jersey B. Maybe we can peep around the Discord and see. And it looks like some last-minute complications on the side of New Jersey, causing them to ask Florida to make some time at Saturday, sometime between 2 and 3 UTC, and we can actually take a look into their availability here. They should have everyone, so I'm not sure why Lunage was not in for that map. Maybe a little bit too many hands. Mechanics going a little bit too hard. Wait the second pick. It's going to be Nomad 2. Tapping not touched at all in the ban phase, and once they do get that last Hard Rock pick out of the way, into the tapping, but I do feel like this is quite contested. Of course, not having, I believe it was FireGen, who was one of their stronger tapping players last year, is going to hurt Florida a little bit. And I believe it was Mikey M as well, one of the tapping players they lost. It was two of Equivocator, Mikey M, and FireGen, and of course losing those to A-Team is going to hurt, but HLV, tapping specialist coming up from C-Team to fill those shoes. Should be standing alongside the homie, who is always standing alongside everyone. I'm assuming it's Niwa Gaming for the third. On the side of Florida, of course, New Jersey, we can even take a peep into their past rosters. I believe they played this prior, and it was the homie. Niwa Gaming is actually Quasi to fill things out as the all-rounder. So no need for HLV on this one. Their all-rounders do suffice. As for New Jersey, we are looking at New Jersey, Musadon FaZe, and Bonnie Abadir. It does look like they'll just be sticking with those three. Yeah, no need to pull out Spike, force him to play this. No need to force Casual Linux user to play this. And we are into the map, of course, Nomad 2. This one, actually from Corsace, I believe it was, a couple years back. This map, yes, 2022 round of 32 Nomad 2 custom. And of course, because it is a Corsace map, it will have all sorts of funky and interesting control elements. Probably the most memorable one of this map being those little bumps you have in the streams later on. But for the rest of the map, actually surprisingly tame. We do sit at a nice comfy 185 BPM. Map also only 2 minutes long. Bit of a 1/3 section at the start, going to catch some act drops, but the bigger issue here is are the misses from everyone on Florida, actually. That is all 3 FCs gone very early on. Just Bonnie Abadir to trade in. It looks like, actually no, it does not look like there are any other misses on New Jersey, as Musadon FaZe and Toronto both holding FCs at the moment, so off to a strong early lead. There goes Musadon FaZe. Miss aim of one of the shorter bursts, although it was quite spaced. And Toronto holding the lone combo as the homie continuing to struggle on what is supposed to be his main skill set here. Dropped around 400k last night when he played this against Texas D, maxing out at just under 600 combo, just shy of it, and his 2 teammates struggling quite a bit, both in the 300k range. The homie not doing too much better for himself at a low to mid 400k. New Jersey with a very comfortable 1.5 million team score as we go into that KI section. In the ending, some very awkward spacing and spacing changes, the little bumps in the stream as well. Going to be catching some more names, and it catches Toronto. So there goes the FC, there goes Damps. But it's Bonnie Abadir to hold on to the one big combo into the ending. Niwa Gaming is matching, and there's just not enough support on the other side. Quasi once again dropping his combo with a homie on a very small recovery, but the score difference at this point is just too much to pull back. Just under 200k, and it will reach 200k there just now, despite the chain misses from New Jersey. And New Jersey going to be finding another rather comfy third point in a row here. Gaming putting up a much improved score compared to last night, but once again, the rest of the team not there. It's going to be a very quick Force Mod 1 pick, however. I'll say this is very interesting considering how they just lost on the Nomad 2 Flow Aim. This is definitely much more strain-oriented than Flow Aim. I will say 225 BPM. Couple long streams, but the longest the streams get is just around 24-25 notes, and it's not like there's a ton of the streams like that. They do get like that. They do get fairly spaced, especially on the Hard Rock mod, and of course on Hidden it's not like you have it any easier. Of course there is that easy multiplier bait. 1.8x is the multiplier if you do decide to go easy, and we could see it maybe on HLV. He is also a reading player. I don't know how much he likes the easy tapping. Accompanying him is the homie and Neo Gaming. The homie, plenty of skill cap on the tapping, just finding a few too many unfortunate misses on the Nomad 2. Maybe more comfortable with this one after a quick break. As Quasi looked incredibly comfortable picking that Force Mod 1 right away after they got out of lobby. It's Neo Gaming to close out their roster, and on the other side for New Jersey, Yuzadong FaZe, Torado, and their tapping specialist, I stubbed my toe coming in. Yakumo Yukari, not the best of times so far in this tournament when it comes to his picks. Although, finally, actually, I say that, did find an FC with 97% accuracy on the DT3 earlier today, as well as an FC on the Force Mod 1 with Hidden, which we will see him try to replicate with his mod choice here. So finally finding some footing in this round, avoiding the bed frame legs as he navigates his bedroom. Hope he doesn't stub his toe in this map. Of course, the other members, Yuzadong FaZe on the Hard Rock to match Homie, and Torado on the Hidden to accompany I stub my toe and match HLV and Neo Gaming. And speaking of HLV, we will not be seeing an easy, it is just the Hidden for him. This map does have a surprising amount of aim in the early parts out of it, in the downtime between the big tapping strain sections. But we go into another build-up, and as you can see, spacing not too big, especially if you look at your screens in the upper right and the center bottom left here, the Homie and Yuzadong FaZe. Spacing not super big yet, but on the Hard Rock, on the AR-10, it will get quite big later on. Maybe not quite big, but it will get noticeably big, as there goes HLV with the first miss of the map. Unfortunately, right before this break here, perhaps it should be noted, the Homie currently holding 99 accuracy. This man plays Hard Rock streams, and boy does he play them well. Heavily out-acting his counterpart on the other side, Yuzadong FaZe at 95, but when you're dropping combos like HLV and Neo Gaming are, the accuracy isn't going to matter as much. But here we go into the strain section. New Jersey to trade. It's the Homie in a 1v2 against I Stubbed My Toe and Yuzadong FaZe. And I Stubbed My Toe already put up an FC on this map once earlier today. Even if he doesn't again, there's going to be quite good prospects for his team taking this, as he does have very good support from Yuzadong FaZe at the moment. as the other three members, the other half of the lobby, continue to flounder, finding more and more misses. HLV, Toronto, and Niwa Gaming need to find their footing quick. The score is still close, just around 80,000, not quite 100,000 yet. But the longer this goes on for, the more and more out of reach this will get from Florida. We are in for a bit of a quote-unquote free combo section here. Homie dropping just a little bit of AC since we last spoke about it to go just under 99. Still matched by the two FCs of Musadong FaZe, and I stubbed my toe. All I can do for now is hold and pray. Keep holding and keep praying. In the meantime, the score lead has finally eclipsed not just 100,000, but 150,000. And is continuing to climb in New Jersey's favor. There will be one last PI section here at the end. So he needs his teammates to hold, and he, above all else, needs to hold. See the break. Combos, the score difference, the location of that crown. On their screens. Of course, not quite fighting for the crown yet, but as the weeks go by, we do inch ever closer to that coveted Grand Finals berth in the Grand Finals weekend. Still a couple weeks away from that, but here we go into the streams, the strain at the end of the map. The homie is still holding on, but so is Musadong FaZe, and so is Yakumo Yukari. There's the first break. It's Niwa Gaming, and the score difference 300,000. I stubbed my toe, will falter at the end, but this map is over, and New Jersey find another break point against Florida. The homie will close out that map with decidedly the best score in the lobby, but matched by not just Musadong FaZe, but also Yakumo Yukari for basically the entire map there. Not much you can do about that one. HLV going to be beating himself up after that early miss, I'm sure. Could have nearly matched Yakumo Yukari, and it would have been much closer affair. Maybe not quite enough to bring it back, but certainly quite close. Pick does go over to New Jersey. One more pick to put themselves at 5-0 is where they would stand should they win it. And these maps have been going on quite quickly, one after another, but as we finally get a moment to breathe, New Jersey now up 4-0, up 2 breakpoints, and it is their pick. This is quite a sticky situation that Florida have found themselves in quite early on in this match. Usually not super happy to give up a breakpoint early on in the match. And even more so, 2 breakpoints does put you in a pretty bad spot. And of course, your opponent only on their 3rd pick of the match, not even having to go super deep into their pick strategy. It's going to be a force mod 2 as they go for probably just the gimmick. I mean, I guess there's hidden too, so no, not quite the gimmickiest map left in the pool. GT4 No Mod 4 also quite gimmicky in their own rights. But in terms of reading, yeah, this one is pretty gimmicky. CS5 AR8, and it's an X-Core's custom with only a 2.1x easy multiplier as well. So yeah, of course, being an X-Course custom, this map quite tricky on the reading. Of course, there is that bit of a troll slider at the start as well. Lots of overlaps, lots of stacks, lots of trying to parse out what exactly is going on, even on the AR-10 with Hard Rock, even on that CS6.5 with the smaller circles. Circles taking up less space on your screen, less real estate. They're still quite overlapped, and you still have to figure out who is who. We do see Lunage finally come in for this reading map. He will be on the hidden, matched by Spike. Who else but Spike? It's going to be the two mechanics players as they take the Hard Rock high AR mod on the low AR reading map to try and make things a bit easier for themselves. Lunage and Musadong face to find the first early breaks. It's going to be Neo Gaming and Big Boy on the Hard Rocks to match the double Hard Rock strategy of New Jersey. And although New Jersey does have quite the strong reading duo in Spike and Bonnie Abadir, they will lean on their mechanic squad for this free mod. And you can already see quite early on what we mean by this reading difficulty. It's going to be Neo Gaming to find the break on the big sliders. There goes Big Boy as well right before the break. It's not going to be a good one as it's already 3 combos in the favor of New Jersey. Of course, Lunage and Musadong phase finding some early breaks. So it's just Spike and Torado, I believe, on the double FC at the moment, as Torado will miss-aim that burst. So now just Spike. Lone FC for New Jersey, but he's already posted enough score for about 100,000 score lead for New Jersey. And Florida continuing to flounder on these two Hard Rock players. Boy and Neo Gaming. And there goes Lunage as well, crucially dropping the last big combo. It is quickly traded out by Spike, but they needed to hold for a little bit longer. There's not really a lot of combo left anywhere in the lobby, and you need combo, you need a recovery to take over when the opportunity presents itself, and there's just nothing, so this 200,000 score lead is just going to stay where it is for the time being. Especially as Florida continue to flounder. Really struggling in the middle part of this map to post any sort of significant combo here.
Hey, there's no time to relax. Here it comes again.
As we go into the ending, it does look like New Jersey is just going to put away a 5th point into their books, as Toronto looking so clean on these overlap slider heads, and circles. 600 combo into the ending, mind you, as Florida really struggled throughout the entire map. Not a single score over 500k. Even Lunage, the reading specialist, just sitting at 450. And that does mean New Jersey put themselves up 5-0. Ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you, Florida B nearly swept Texas C, only giving up the No-Mod 2 right before the finish line. And New Jersey struggling a lot more against SoCal C, dropping 4 maps against that team. And it's not like Florida have been playing terribly either. They have been doing a good job improving on their team scores, on the No-Mod 2, on the Hidden 3, I believe, as well, on the Hard Rock 1. But these maps, I believe, a similar score on the Force Mod 1. Yeah, unfortunately, dropping there was 2.2 million. And had they replicated that score exactly, it would have been barely enough to take out Florida. But finding some unfortunate slip-ups. And they do find themselves in quite a hole, quite a pickle here, as they continue to pick into the tapping. After losing every tapping map so far, it is the DT3. It is Rubik's Cube. So Florida calling a timeout, looking to get some more practice time. So I am taking a quick look at the pick and ban order rules and timeout rules. We have seen a few timeouts here. Notably, you do have to submit your timeout, or you submit your map pick before the timer, before your first timer is up. You cannot use the timeout timer to extend your decision time on what map you want to pick, as that was what we saw happen just now. Some more speed and some more tapping come in. This is the speed map of the pool, 261 BPM. Lots of bursts, some 5 notes and 9 notes, but nothing really longer than 9 notes. Other than that, a bit of a BPM comfort check, as well as the spacing isn't large per se, but it's not necessarily trivial either. You need to be quite comfortable. Jersey putting in Musadong FaZe, and a little bit of a surprise here. Wasn't expecting him to be in for the high BPM tapping. The other team members a little bit more expected. I stubbed my toe, definitely. And interesting switch up. As yeah, we did see Bonnie, Abadir, and New Jersey in for this earlier today, but both of those dropping sub 400k scores. So it does look like they'll be trying a new pair of players. And of course, no Spike would not be included in either of those pairs to try on this map. As for side of Florida, it's going to be HLV tapping specialists coming in, as well as the Homie and Neo Gaming. Who else but these two for the tapping? Maybe Quasi, but at that point it is just look at your sheet and see who has the better scores, who's feeling better on the day. As the R8 thing is going to be Neo Gaming finding first early miss, a little bit of an under tap on the burst. It looks like leading to a slider break. Just a little bit of that BPM comfort when the bursts come at you back to back for so long. Maybe a little bit of strain as well. Strain on the aim hands as well, going to be catching off HLV, and I stubbed my toe. So stubbing his finger a little bit in the early parts of the map, unable to replicate the FC he showed earlier today on this map. Still plenty of opportunity for good score, as his teammates are there to pick up the slack this time. Casual Linux user and Musadong FaZe holding on to their FCs through the first half of the map. Gonna be matched by the Homie, but he is all there is to match, as HOV and Neo Gaming floundering a little bit on the other side. Finding some unfortunate misses in that first Ki, as you are into the back half of the map. Quick check-in on the accuracy scenario. The Homie, once again, at the top of the lobby, standing head and shoulders above the rest at 98%. It's going to be Musadong FaZe all the way down at 86, somewhat matched by Neo Gaming at 88, and HOV at 94, matched by Casual Linux user at 93, and I stubbed my toe at 95, almost 96. But here we are into the ending, the final quarter, and these two FCs, one of them unmatched. Only the Homie to match one of them, and there go HOV Neo Gaming. That's going to result in the score continuing to go in the favor of New Jersey. 200k and counting, and this is quickly ballooning to 300k, and there goes the Homie, and there goes Florida's third break point in a row. Ladies and gentlemen, New Jersey B are standing on the precipice of a sweep here in the lower bracket semifinals. What on earth are we witnessing? Casual Linux user and Musadong FaZe will drop their FCs right at the finish line, but it doesn't matter. What are these scores? A triple 700k from New Jersey on a break point of over 500,000 team score. In Florida, this pick strategy has absolutely blown up in their face, as now they have to face a New Jersey match point with New Jersey's map to pick. And that is a very successful roster swap from New Jersey. Two supporting players doubling their scores. More than doubling their scores from earlier today until now. And what else is there to say other than the world is their oyster at this point? 6-0. And 6 attempts to take this one over the line. 7, in fact, if you include tiebreaker. But of course, there's a lot of work to do before we can even think about the possibility of that happening. And what else but the DT2 to try and close things out? They have won on every single tapping map so far. Your tapping players, your mechanic players are feeling so good. Why take any risk on anything else? You have not truly tested the depth of the reading rosters yet with the Force Mod 2 pick. Only one reading player in for each side. Why mess around there? There is something certain in this skill set pool. And there's one map left for you to try and close things out right here and now. It's Desire Blue Sky by Ito Kanako. It's going to be some DT finger control as New Jersey B look to close the noose on Florida. As for rosters, I stubbed my toe. A no-brainer on this one, I would say. And then it's really take your pick of the litter on the remaining 4 players, of course. Excluding Spike from the remaining players to make just 4 of Toronto, Muzadong FaZe, Bonnie Abadir, and... yeah. I'm blanking. Casual Linux user, yes. Who did just put up a 770k 0 miss on Rubik's Cube just now. We do have the rosters in the lobby. It will be Toronto, Muzadong FaZe for New Jersey. On the other side, it's going to be Homie, Niwa Gaming, and Big Boy. The Homie putting on such a strong performance so far tonight. He's going to need to keep it up and also receive a little bit more help from his teammates here. Struggled a little bit individually on the Nomad 2. This is another map where he did top score his team. 582k last night. Both of his teammates a little bit lower. Niwa Gaming 450k, Big Boy 350k with a B rank. So, a little bit of an uphill battle at the moment, but there's definitely room to improve on what already exists. Actually, on this map, just barely edging out the trio on the other side. 1.36 million for New Jersey as opposed to Florida's 1.4 million. But as we saw on the Force Mod 1, just because you have an advantage on the map based on your past scores, it doesn't necessarily mean things will go the same way, and there are some early breaks from the Homie and Niwa Gaming facing elimination, and the nerves set in. It was a 4th place, 2nd round losers final finish for this team last year. And here they are, a threat of elimination in 2nd round of semifinals. Against a New Jersey B that has definitely been on an upswing these past few years. All the combos in the lobby down already except for that of New Jersey's tapping specialist, Yakumo Yukari. I stubbed my toe. He is stubbing no toes this map, however. And not really stubbing any toes this weekend either. We say he had found a couple of unfortunate misses in the past couple tapping maps, but even then, still putting up incredible scores north of 700k. It's going to be Dan's to find a little bit of an oopsie break right before the slow section here. But we're already into the back half of the map with a hefty, almost 150,000 score lead for New Jersey. And Florida needs something to happen, and they need it to happen now if they want any chance of staying in this tournament. And that is not what you want to see happen. Big Boy going to be dropping his combo right out of the break. Neo Gaming and the homie still holding on up against the recovery of Torado and the FC of Yakumo Yukari. But that FC is putting in so much work, and there goes the homie. Homie down. And maybe it might just be Florida down. I stubbed my toe, will stub his toe at the end of this map, but it matters not as the rest of the lobby collapses around him. 200,000 score is the lead for New Jersey, and that is where the score will stay, only inching ever so more forward in their favor as they march forward on to victory. 260,000 is the number as we encroach on the ending of this map. As we look at that ending burst, only Torado to hit it. And of course, the homie to hit it for Florida. Who else? But that is where things will end for them, as Florida have found the end of the road here. Falling at the victim of a 7-0 sweep by New Jersey B. There you have it. Congratulations to New Jersey B for securing their finals berth in the minor league of 5-digit United States Cup 2026. They are your winners tonight in the most dominating score line of the weekend so far. Struggling more against their opponents than Florida did against theirs, but once you're in the lobby, everything changes. And it's New Jersey who come out on top here. They will be awaiting the loser of match 55 for that first round finals matchup, the loser of SoCal B versus New York B, which will be headed your way on Sunday 1 UTC tomorrow evening. But for now, that's going to be it for us. We are starting bright and early tomorrow from 19 UTC, starting off with NorCal B versus Virginia B, then following up with a quick double block of 20 UTC matches, Indiana A versus Florida A, NorCal A versus Virginia A. And then we will continue throughout the evening with plenty more action to come. Of course, the potential is also having to realize, so even though you might not see it on the sheet yet confirmed, we do have more matches for Sunday and even a planned Tuesday match. So make sure you stick around for all the 5USC action we have this weekend. For now, we will say goodbye for Florida as New Jersey take a bow. We hand them their flowers as they move on to the finals. That is going to be it for me. I've been blessed. Thank you so much for joining me. Of course, thank you to the streamer, Mr. Steve, and our ref, Zella, for coming together at the last moment to make this match and broadcast happen. Thank you so very much. And of course, to Sky for handling the entire last-minute situation so smoothly, as always. But for now, that's gonna be all from us. We'll see you later tomorrow morning, bright and early. But for now, have a good night. We'll see you next time. Peace.